I do have an exorcism planned for at least 3, possibly 4 of the locks currently in my lock lab. If that doesn't sound nuts to you, then you might be a Locksporter, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm picking and when I lift the pin, it has a little resistance and turns the tensioner. What do I do? Is that binding? And if so, what does it tell me? I know counter rotation is a thing. I'm not dumb, so I get what the words mean. I just want to understand why my lock opened. I don't really rake locks, and I'm rated orange belt. But if I'm a betting man, I would say a majority of other orange belts do not have these basic questions. The thing is, they do. A lot of people have these questions. You can get a lot of different locks open before you actually know what the hell you even did. Okay. And so a lot of people have this question. Don't worry. I want to go over all the different pin states and I want to talk about counter rotation, tensioning, all that good stuff. So strap in and let's get right to it. So let's start at the beginning. There are 3 pin states. I like to say there's 4. Okay. So there is the springy pin, which means that it doesn't need pick. There's a binding pin, and those are the ones you want to pick. And then there is the jiggling pin. It's kind of underset. So you may have went through and tried to set it, but it didn't quite reach the shear line, but it's still kind of trapped up there and it still needs to be picked. And then there is the pin that's set. I like to say it's kind of clicky. Tensioning is so super important. We never ever talk about it in detail because it's really hard to explain tensioning. It's super hard. A lot of people say your tension pressure should equal about the same force it takes to hold a piece of paper to the wall. But who can really kind of gauge that? And even if you try it out and hold a piece of paper to the wall, are you going to remember that when it comes time to tension your lock? It's very hard to explain. But the best thing to do is just literally experiment. You have a lock in front of you. You got your tensioner. You've got your lock pick. Practice tensioning. See what types of tension you need in order to just start feeling pins binding. And that's what I would use. That's what I would use in order to try to pick that lock starting out. Now, as you're picking through it, you might need more tension or you might need less tension. Again, this is going to be kind of a fluid thing. Tension isn't the same across the board the whole time you're picking a lock. You're going to have to let off tension sometimes. You're going to have to add a little bit of tension sometimes. It's just one giant experiment. And that's kind of what makes lock picking difficult. And it's also why when you're having a bad, stressful day, you seem to not be able to pick a single goddamn thing because you sit down to pick a lock and you are so stressed out that you're tensioning like a madman. You don't realize it though. Just experiment. Now you can also experiment with pin states. A springy pin is just when you push up on it, your pick is springing. It's just springing back down. That's a springy pin. And even if you push all the way up on that pin, you're not going to do anything because it's not binding and it's not going to set and it's just going to drop right back down. So those ones you kind of just identify it, ignore it, and move on until you find a binding pin or, a pin that's going to counter rotate. A counter rotating pin is basically, it's just another type of binding pin. Now, once you get to a lock that has spool pins, you're going to run into pins that now, when you push up on them, it counter rotates your core and you'll see your tensioner kind of move backwards. And at first you're like, what? What's going on here? So when you're pushing up on a pin, you're going to feel that counter rotation in the tensioner. So your pick is going to be pushing up on a pin and your tensioner is going to be going in the opposite direction. So you don't want to apply too much tension because if you apply too much tension, the pin's just not going to move. Right. And if you apply too little tension, then you may end up dropping some pins. So you're going to need to find that sweet spot again, and you're going to feel it counter rotate, and you're just going to hold your tension steady. You're going to feel it counter rotating while you're pushing up that spool pin, and it's going to feel like it's counter rotating so far and everything's about to drop, but then your spool's going to click into place. Your lock might be open at that point, and the core might turn altogether if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you'll be at the last stage and that'll be that. Counter rotation indicates the very bottom of a spool pin. And, that's the last part of the pin that needs to be pushed up above the shear line. So you're just going to look for one of those two things, a regular old binding pin or something that's counter rotating. As soon as you find it, just make a mental note of where it is and double check all the rest of the pins. Make a couple passes in your lock, make sure that's the one you think you want to pick, and then just slowly push up on it and pick it. You don't have to rush through the process. I personally make several different passes on my lock before I commit to picking a single pin. And as you pick each pin, all the pin states in the lock are going to change because then there's going to be a different pin that's now binding and, other ones that are springy. You may have overset something. There's just a lot of different things, right? So the pin states are going to kind of change as you're picking through the lock. And of course, you're going to need to vary your tension as you're picking through a lock. So there's a lot of things going on. So it can be a little daunting. It can be a little like, oh, just take your time, go through it slowly. Once you overset a pin, nothing else in your lock is going to be binding. Now, if this is the very first pin that you've picked, you're just going to let off your tension and let the pin fall. If you've picked a couple of pins and actually got them set in place in the correct positions, you don't want to drop everything because that's so annoying to have to start from the beginning. A little trick is that you can let off tension very, very gently until you hear that overset pin fall. Hopefully the rest will stay in place and just the one that you overset will drop. A lot of times that's what happens. And then you can just continue on picking, give it another try. Hopefully you won't overset it this time around. This is going to make it so much easier for you to understand what an overset pin feels like. Don't forget to like. Also, there's something that we call like a no lift pin or a zero lift pin. And this is a pin that basically doesn't need picked. Okay. It's in there. It's set super, super low. It's already set. It's a pin that you just ignore when you're picking. They're hard to identify though, because they feel binding. And so you're going to go ahead and pick them and you're going to overset them immediately. Sometimes you won't notice that they're overset because you're not used to what that feels like. And you're going to get confused as to why your lock just went open, why nothing's binding, why this is being such a pain in the butt. And at the end of the day, it could just be a zero lift pin that you keep on picking. So that's another pin state that you kind of got to look out for. And again, the only way to identify it is when you push up on it and go to pick it, it's just going to completely overset every single time. Obviously, it doesn't need lifted and you can just ignore it. Once you've picked a couple of the pins in place, they are very clicky. I like to call them clicky. They're clicky because the actual driver pin is up above the shear line and the key pin is down below the shear line and it's just dangling there. There's no spring tension behind it. And so when you run your pick across it, it does sound and feel a little bit clicky. If you push up on it, bumps into the shear line there and it stops. You can't push it up any farther because if you do, you're going to overset and drop everything in your lock. But you'll know when a pin is set because of that clicky feeling. The jiggly pin, technically, basically what it is when you push up on a pin, and you can still feel a teeny tiny, eeny weeny little bit of spring tension behind it. You'll have a clicky pin, but the driver pin won't be fully set. And so to identify which pins are actually fully set and which pins are actually like underset, like not the whole way set yet, you're going to try to feel for that jiggly pin. It's a really hard thing to feel for, but it is something that if you can figure out how to identify this, you're going to be way ahead of the game. So let's say that you've picked your lock, all the pins feel mostly clicky, and you can't figure out why your lock isn't opening. Chances are there's one that's just not the entire way set yet. You need to figure out which pin it is without oversetting all the rest of the pins. So the thing that you need to do in order to figure that out, you need to test each clicky dangling key pin and make sure that it's not actually a jiggly pin, which means that you kind of push up on it and you can feel a little bit of spring tension. And it's going to be the tiniest, tiniest, tiniest amount. So yeah, that one's a tough one. And honestly, just practicing and testing each pin, you can start to learn how to identify that. But again, it's probably the hardest one to identify. All right, so when it comes to binding order, binding order is a thing. It is actually a thing. It's the order with which your pins bind during the picking process, but you don't have to memorize binding order, and you really don't need to know much about binding order past the fact that that's what it means. Because the binding order in your lock, in my opinion, isn't something you should memorize. Because look, the reason you're even picking the lock is to learn how to identify the different pin states and be able to deal with each step towards getting your lock open. If you memorize the binding order and you know which pins that definitely need set next, you're not going by the pin states and you're not going by what you're feeling, you're going by what you memorized. And at the end of the day, you're only picking this lock so that you can learn everything you need to learn to pick the next lock, right? And if you memorize things, it's not going to help you pick that next lock. The pin states, that's how you kind of approach picking a lock, figure out tensioning. It's a whole big process. You're just going to have to practice. You're just going to have to, what I would do is I would choose a couple of different locks to do this with and start with the easiest one and just, like I said, just work on identifying the pin states. And listen, while you're doing this whole experimentation, feeling all the pin states and then trying the different binding pins and trying to overset the different binding pins and stuff like that, eventually your lock's going to pop open. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh. So you're not even trying to pick it, but it's still going to pop open. You're going to start to put everything together and realize exactly what you did to get that lock open. If you would like some more information on all the fun stuff that you need to know when you're first starting out, check out this playlist right here. It's got tons and tons and tons of amazing videos, and they will definitely help you figure out the basics. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up because I know you liked my video, and I will see you on the next one.